Hey, this is Chuck. Today I'm going to turn a winged bowl out of cherry wood that my friend Bruce gave me from his sawmill. I think it's a fun project to do. It's not very difficult. Some things I would just pay attention to is that when the lathe is turning, we're not going to really be able to go off and sand it. And there is a lot of air in between the wood, so we just need to be patient and take our time, and we can end up with a very nice little project. I'm going to cut a piece 9.5 inches long, which when I look at my diagonals is going to give me almost 11 inches. So I'll be able to clear it on my lathe. And this size also gives me just a nice looking bowl when it's finished. Now that I've got my piece cut, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark the center on both sides. I'm using a 3/8 inch bit, and I've set my bit depth to 1 1/8 inches, and we're going to use this to mount it to the lathe. You can call me goofy, but whenever I lock the spindle, I always tape my off switch so I don't accidentally turn it on. So I've locked the spindle now. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put the piece of cherry on. I was not a math whiz in school, so I had to go to Google and look up the formulas, but the area of this circle is going to be about 70 inches. It's basically radius squared times pi. And the square inches of the board is 5 times 9.5, which is about 47.5. So about 33% of what we're going to be turning is going to be air, especially once we get out of this circle. The challenge that's going to present is we're not going to be able to sand while it's on the lathe, and we need to have kind of a nice steady hand with it. So I'm going to go ahead and run this probably around 800 RPMs. We'll cut the tenon first and shape the bottom of the wings while we're on this side. We'll sand it while it's on this side before I turn it over, and then we'll work the top. We'll scoop out the bowl and then finish off the top. At this point, I'm going to start to tail end the wings, and so as I get to the edge, I'm going to start rolling outwards like so with my gouge, and I'm going to accomplish both two things. I'm going to end up truing the ends as I go along, doing it that way, and then I'll set up a nice even taper to go off and start meeting it when I reverse it over and start doing the top of the bowl. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish doing the entire inside tapering of the wing and get the whole contour that I'm looking for. All right, we finished forming the bottom of the bowl, and before we turn it over into the chuck, I'm going to just finish this little area here with the gouge, and then we're going to sand it. I'll be able to sand this part of it here while it's turning on the lathe, but the outer parts I'm not going to be able to do that, and we'll end up having to sand that by hand. All right, I basically got the initial part of the sanding that I wanted to do here before I move to the wings. One note of caution I'd make, when you get out here, if you're not careful, this is like hitting a propeller on an airplane. I mean, it's going to make you say, ow. So stay in this radius right here while the lathe is turning. All right, now when I said we were going to do the wings by hand, I didn't mean that literally, so much as I meant we're going to do it with the lathe turned off. And I'm going to use my random orbital sander to get most of this stuff out before I do the finishing parts. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hollow out the bowl portion of this. I know how far my depth is, and once I finish the bowl section, then I'll move outwards and finish off the rings. Okay, what you can see is I'm trying to just give us a little bit of a sway in here, just to kind of add something to it rather than being totally flat. All right. I'm on my last grit now. I'm going to finish up with 600. I'm still able to run the lathe while I'm staying inside this center diameter. Once I go beyond that, then I won't be able to run the lathe while I'm doing it. I can try and get right around here, but you hear the paper and you can see where I'm at, that it's just not going to be possible to sand while the lathe's turning beyond the center diameter. We're going to put the finish on and then we're going to be done. All right, I'm really not sure that this is actually ever going to be used with real food, but I'm going to go ahead and use a mineral oil finish on it in the unlikely event that that's happened. At least it'll be a food-safe bowl. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply 2 or 3 coats for it. I won't bore you while I'm doing the entire thing, and then we'll kind of take a look at the finished product once we're set and done. I have a couple of coats of the mineral oil on it now, and I think it's going to be nice. It's going to look pretty good. So hey, thanks a whole bunch for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon.